Hi everyone, Azriel Knight here, and welcome to day 16 of a fortnight of film, a vlogging marathon where I shoot a different role every single day. And to quickly bring you up to speed, this is a successful Kickstarter campaign in which I reached one of my stretch goals of 3 extra days, which is why it's called a fortnight, even though I'll be doing a total of 17 days. And that makes this the second last day. And I know a lot of you said I wish I could just keep going and going, but I gotta tell you, this is amazing and exhausting. As much as I love doing this, I yearn for a day of doing absolutely nothing. The good news is that because this is my second last day, things are starting to wind down. I don't have as many preparation for future days, and I don't have as much editing for previous days. So it's all sort of like taking a nice gentle slope in the direction of relaxation. This also marks the last day that I asked you guys to vote for a film on my Instagram stories. And it was a choice between HP5 at 3200 ISO or TMAX P3200. And 211 of you voted. 211. That is absolutely insane. Since I started this marathon, I have gained over 160 new Instagram followers, and I hope you'll stick around after the marathon's over and see what I come up with next. But yeah, 211 votes, and it was 106 in favor of one and 105 in favor for the other. And if you watched yesterday's episode, then you know that it came down to a single vote for TMAX P3200, more specifically, my vote. Yeah, so I decided that I was going to vote, and things were back and forth. HP5 was in the lead, then TMAX was in the lead, and each day when I get up and I get ready for the day of vlogging, I close out the voting poll, and this time it was pretty much tied. It was actually 2 in favor of HP5, so somebody else must have voted for TMAX right at the last minute when I did. And that's where we're at now. And I'm glad too, because even though I haven't shot HP5 at 3200, I have shot a lot of HP5, but I've never shot TMAX P3200. It's always nice when I can shoot something that I've never shot before. And if you've been watching this series, there is a whole bunch that I haven't shot. Now, before I go any further, there are a few people I would like to acknowledge. If you didn't know, I have a PayPal donation link in my description, and it's for anybody who wants to chip in a few bucks and help the cause, help me keep making videos, make better videos, buy film and chemicals, you know, live, eat, drink, breathe, that sort of thing. Anyway, the number of donations has really increased since I started this marathon, and I couldn't be more grateful. So I'd just like to quickly thank the following people: Maxwell, Larry, Andrew, Marco, and Alberto. Thank you so much for your generous donation. Every bit helps. And if any of you other viewers are watching and are interested in donating, the link is in the description. I also have a Patreon, and early access starts at the $5 level. For example, if you want to watch the season finale today, you can pitch in $5 to Patreon and watch it right after this one if you'd like. Today I will be shooting with my Nikon FE, but as a change-up, I will be using my 50mm 1.8. The reason for that being is I need the extra light, as I'm going to be shooting handheld during and after sunset. For today's episode, I'm going to be heading down to the trendy Stephen Avenue. There is a lot of really neat, interesting old buildings. It's all pedestrian friendly, so I'll be able to just walk around and take snapshots. I'm also meeting a buddy down there, so it should be a good time. So nothing to do now, but get this camera loaded. Thought you guys might be curious to see what the box looks like and what the film looks like. I know I was, so I thought I'd include this. P3200 TMZ expires January 2022. The good old limitation of liability basically saying that all they owe you is another roll if this screws up. You know what would be nice is if they still printed the directions on the back. Wishful thinking, I guess. Ooh, purpley again. Someone told me that it's because it's a T-grain film. T-grain films tend to have this purpley emulsion. Yeah, it makes sense in a way that I have no idea. Also, to answer your question, yes, I've been taping up my camera ever since I discovered those minor light leaks, and it hasn't happened since. There we are. Tighten it a bit there. Fire away. Okie dokie, let's hit the road. Alright guys, just working on my last few shots, and good thing too because I'm losing light fast. Right now I'm shooting at 1/30 at f1.8, of course ISO 3200, and it's about 7:15 right now. And yeah, I'm on shot number 30, and the more I go, the more I bracket. So it looks like I've got 2 solid shots left if I bracket for each. And then it's going to be a late night of developing. Alright guys, just shot my last shots. There's this really cool fog coming out. Josh and I got some shots of the fog, and what I did is I walked over to here and I sort of got it from this angle. Got the smoke coming through with the church windows and everything. So Josh is still clacking away, but yeah, just took my last shots. Nothing to do but get home now and get the roll developed. Sometimes, even though I'm doing a 5-10-20, I like to give it a good shake before and after. Everyone's got their own little tricks of the trade. Some people leave it in between wash cycles. Other people, I'm sure they do different things. Me, I tend to agitate it and then leave it for a bit while I tidy up, and then do my inversions, and then give it a shake after. This stuff's pretty purple. Wow, even pink. Look at that. That is filthy. I am definitely going to need an extra wash cycle on this. So this would be my 20, but I'm going to do another 10. While my next wash water is sitting there, percolating and collecting all the crap, I figure I'd try and sell you a t-shirt. This is a design I had made up a while ago. Silly rabbit, Tri-X for hipsters. I thought it was a clever idea because obviously the cereal And the film is very similar. The only thing different is the hyphen. And yeah, so I have a link to my t-shirt store in the description. And I've also got one of those YouTube store tray things below my videos. But if you didn't know that, yeah, I thought that was pretty clever. Black and white, negative flavored sweetened film. It's ridiculous, but it's clever too, right? Well, if you don't think so, you won't buy one. If you do, you will. So that's my thoughts on that. And it's Hanes, very comfy. Anyway, now that that's out of the way, let's see how this second 10 inversion goes. I'm willing to bet it's going to look almost exactly the same. Yeah, that is quite pink. And somebody said it's okay if the water's still pink when you're done and you hang them up and everything. But I think we can do better than this. All right, folks, just like the Neopan, I needed to do a 5, 10, 10, 20, 20. This is what I'm getting with my second 20. And that kind of looks clear, but let's see without the light. Still looks clear on camera. It's slightly pink. It is still slightly pink. I'm posing a question to post-production me. Post-production me, did the negatives come out dirty? And there's the answer. I'm taking the advice of one of the commenters and saying that it doesn't need to come out clear and wasting 2 liters of distilled water on a single roll of film, sort of where I draw the line. All I got to do now is dump in the photo flow and I am ready to show you the negatives. Okay, folks, here we go. I think these look very nice. There's a few underexposed. That comes with the territory of night photography. Oh, I was like, whoa, what is that at the end? But that's where I shot that smoke. I really hope that one turns out. Looks good. Looks good. I'm going to have to wait for these to dry, but you don't have to. Here are today's highlights and my contact sheet. Well, folks, I hope you enjoyed those highlights. This was definitely one of the more interesting films that I've shot with during this marathon. And I had some very expected results, like a large amount of grain, like sandpaper, and some unexpected results, like super high contrast in some shots and a nice even tone in others. And I think the main reason for that is because this film doesn't handle latitude really well. Earlier in the evening, before the sunset and the light and the sun was still out, if I had the sky in the background and then I was shooting the foreground as well, it was like, no. You pick one or the other, not both. And that makes a lot of sense. Considering it's a really high-speed film, we're probably not going to get the tonal range of something like HP5. In other instances, it was probably my light meter at play. Like when it got really dark, sometimes things were just way underexposed and it didn't look good at all. And then in other shots, things looked really light and bright, even though it was actually darker than it was. If I had my time back and I knew the film better, I would underexpose some of those shots. Yeah, I don't know if I'm over-explaining this or not, but there were just a few frames where I was like, wow, that's really bright, and I don't remember it being that bright whatsoever. If I had known that the film was going to behave like that, I would have underexposed by like a stop and a half, which would have only benefited me because it would have looked more like my eyes saw at the time, and it would have given me a boost in shutter speed. During the start of my evening, at half an hour before sunset, I was shooting at 1/1000 at f/22, and at the end of the evening, I was shooting at 1/15th or 1/30th of a second at f1.8. But the beauty of it is that I was shooting handheld. It was absolutely fantastic to just be able to walk around and shoot handheld at night, and things weren't going to get any darker than they were. I mean, not really anyway, not for Stephen Avenue. It's a pretty lit area, and you'll notice some shots compared to others, the buildings are super illuminated or super not illuminated. I would have to say that my favorite shot, though, was the one with the smoke coming out of I called it fog, but the smoke coming out of the side of the building behind the church with the light and everything. Wow, I really, really like that shot. And yeah, it turned out better than I could have expected. Absolutely. And be sure to let me know what you think of high-speed film in the comments below and how you might have handled some of the situations that I seem to have faltered on. Well, guys, that wraps up day 16, and you know what that means. That means tomorrow is the last day of the marathon, day 17. I can hardly believe it. By day 5, I thought there'd never be an end in sight. And by day 15, I really hit my stride. Actually, I feel like it's developed into a routine, and I'm going to miss it. I'm going to miss it when it's all over. I know that I need to not do this forever, though, because I need to do other things. But I've had such a good time with this. Yeah, so what's in store for tomorrow? Tomorrow is going to be a trip to the Calgary Tower. Now, the Calgary Tower is not the biggest tower in the city, but it will give me a really neat view of the city. And I've decided for the film to shoot trusty Tri-X, medium format with my Pentax 6.7 and a 200mm f4. And the goal tomorrow will be to shoot the neighborhoods that I've been to throughout this journey. Obviously, I won't be able to capture Nanton or Rosebud or, other places that will be blocked by buildings or distance. But, I should have a view of things like Inglewood and Stephen Avenue where I was at tonight. And yeah, it'll be interesting. I'll have 10 shots and I'll have to make them count. And due to current circumstances, I had to book this ticket in advance, and there might be some restrictions when I get up there, and I probably won't know about them until I get up there. So this thing could completely blow up in my face. Who knows? But it should be interesting. And until tomorrow, stay classic. Oh my God. Every time.